What's up guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to scrape leads from Reddit automatically by creating a simple workflow in N8N. Let's get started. In N8N, I've created a workflow that I've renamed to Reddit Leads Scraper. And here, we're going to start by adding a trigger. I'm going to choose a manual trigger over here. Now, to scrape leads from Reddit, I'm going to use this tool called Apify. Apify is an incredible tool that you can use to scrape any website and automate projects. To get 30% off your first subscription to this tool, just use the link in the description to sign up and create your account. And after creating your account, head over to Apify Store. Here, we're going to search for the website that we'd like to scrape. In our case, we'd like to scrape Reddit. So I'll search for Reddit email scraper, since we'd like to scrape leads from Reddit. And here, you can see over 100 tools that we can use to scrape Reddit. And here, you can see the various tools that we can use to scrape Reddit. Yeah, I'm going to use this first tool over here. So I'll open this tool on a new tab. And this is a tool that we're going to use to scrape leads from Reddit. All we have to do is add a keyword right here, location, platform, custom email domain over here, and click on start to scrape our leads. So let us try scraping leads using the automation keyword from this location. To do that, I'll click on start over here. Here, you can see that our actor is running and getting our data. Let's give it a second. Here, you can see we successfully scraped one lead using the automation keyword, and we got the description, the email, the keyword was automation, the title, and the URL over here. Now, instead of having to manually scrape the leads right here in Apify, we can create an automation in N8N that automatically scrapes the leads for us, then adds the leads to a spreadsheet. To set up the workflow, here, we're going to start by searching for Apify, and here, I'll click on Apify. Here, you'll need to install it first if you haven't installed it yet. Then after installing it, click on Run an Action node over here. Here, you'll need to create your credential by clicking on Create a new credential. Then here, click on Connect my account to connect your account to N8N. Then on the new window that pops up, choose the account that you would like to link to N8N and click on Allow Access. You can see that our connection was created successfully. Now here, I'll close this. Here, I would like to run an actor. I'm going to choose Recently Used Actor. And here, I'll select the actor from our list, which is this actor over here. And here, we're going to input our JSON. To get the JSON, I'll go back to our tool and click on JSON right here. Here, I'll copy this JSON. And then I'll click on expression right here, expand it right here to add our JSON over here. So we like to scrape leads using the automation keyword from this location, this platform. So to scrape our leads here, I'll click on execute step. Our node was executed successfully. And here you can see the status was a success, and we got our dataset ID over here. So now to get our leads here, I'll search for Apify again. Click on Apify. Then here, I'll click on Get Dataset Items Node. Here we're going to map the dataset ID over here. So I'll map it over here. Then I'll click on Execute Step to get our lead that we just scraped. You can see here we're getting a total of 2 leads right here. So here we use the keyword automation. Here are their titles, description, URL, and the email address over here. This is incredible. So here I renamed this node to Reddit Leads Scraper. And here I renamed this to Get Reddit Leads. And then I'll click on Rename right here. Now here, when you open this node, you can see we are manually adding our keyword over here. We can also automate this part where we're adding the keywords to a spreadsheet instead of opening this node and adding our keyword manually. So to automate this part, in Google Sheets, I've created a spreadsheet that I've renamed to Scrape Reddit Leads. In this spreadsheet, I've created a sheet that I've renamed to keywords, and here's where we're going to add our keywords right here. So you can add accountants, automation, and lawyers as our keywords right here. So now to get our keywords in our workflow, here I'll unlink this, and here I'll search for Google Sheets and click on Google Sheets, and here I'll click on Get Rows in Sheet Node. Here you'll also need to create your credential by clicking on Create a new credential, then click on Sign in with Google and choose the account that you'd like to connect to N8N. Here I'm going to close this node, and then here I'm going to find our document, which is this document. The shade is going to be the keywords shade, and here I'll click on execute step to get our keywords right here. You can see we're getting a total of 3 keywords. Now here we're going to limit the keyword to only one. I'll search for the limit node right here. You can limit the keyword to only one. Then I'll allow to align our node right here. And here I'll execute this node. You can see we're getting one item out of the 3. And now in this node, and I'll open this node. And here we're going to map our keyword from Google Sheets right here. We can try executing our workflow to scrape our leads from Reddit using our keyword that we got over here. So to do that, I'll click on execute workflow right here. Here you can see that our workflow was executed successfully. Here we got our keywords over here. Then we limited the keywords to only one. Then we use the keyword to scrape our leads from Reddit here, and then we got our leads over here using this node over here. We use accountants as our keyword, and we got the title, description, URL, and the email address over here. Now with our here, I'll rename this to get keywords and click on rename. Now the next thing that I'm going to do here is we're going to add our leads to our spreadsheet. So in our spreadsheet, I've created another sheet that I've renamed Reddit leads. Here, we're going to add the keyword that we use to scrape the leads, the title, email, description, URL, the email subject line, and the email body here. So to add our leads data to our spreadsheet, here, I'll search for Google Sheets, click on Google Sheets, and here I'll click on append row in sheet. Here, I'm going to find our document. This is document right here. And our sheet is going to be Reddit leads sheet. And here we're going to map values from our Apify. I'll map the keyword, title, description, email, and the URL. Now, for the email subject line and the email body, we're going to update it later on after we've generated the subject line and the email body. But for now, I'll click on execute step to add our data to our spreadsheet. You can see our node was executed successfully. In our spreadsheet, you can see we added a new record right here. We added the keyword, title, email, description, and the URL over here, using our workflow over here. So here I rename this to Reddit leads data and click on rename. Now the next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to add a condition. To add the condition, I'm going to search for the if node right here and click on it. The condition that I would like to add is the email address has to exist in order to generate a cold outreach email to our leads. And here I click on execute step. You can see that it meets our condition. So if the output was false, here I would like to do nothing. So I'll search for the do nothing node right here and click on it. You can see that our output was in the true branch over here. So that'll limit the leads. In our spreadsheet, you can see we scraped only one lead using this keyword right here. Sometimes you might use a broad keyword that will scrape more than one lead. So in our case here, I'm going to limit the leads. So I'll search for the limit node right here. I'll rename this to limit leads. I'd like to limit to 1. And I'll execute this node right here. So the next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to proceed and generate a personalized cold email for these leads. So here, you can see we got the email address right here and the description. So we're going to use the description to generate a very personalized cold email. We're going to send this lead via the email address right here. So to send them the cold email here, I'm going to generate the personalized cold email using an AI agent. So in AI, I'll click on AI agent. Here I'm going to define below and add the prompt and the system message over here. Now, the prompt could be in the lines of you're an expert cold email copywriter. And the system message could be in the lines of your task is to write highly personalized, natural sounding cold emails based only on the information provided about the lead using the theme tool. And here we're adding our inputs. Here we're adding the keyword, title, description, and the Reddit URL over here. Then we're outlining a couple of rules that we'd like the AI to follow. We're telling the AI to open with a genuine, specific compliment or observation about the profile based on the username subreddit, or post history. Keep the tone warm, human, and professional, and avoid sounding like a template. Do not use filler or vague phrases. Be concrete and accurate. Keep the email short, maximum of 5 sentences. And here we are outlining the structure that would like the AI to output our email. The first line will be a personalized compliment or opening. Second line will be a brief introduction of who I am and what I do. The third line will be me explaining simply how what I do could benefit this specific lead. The last line would be a light call to action. We'll be offering them a free audit, quick chat, or asking if they're open to an idea. We're also telling the AI agent, do not invent facts not in the input. If no information is available, acknowledge briefly and keep the message general but polite. Avoid overused phrases like, I hope this email finds you well. Do not use any dashes or output placeholders such as your name, first name, or business name. Write the email naturally as if you already know the recipient. And lastly, we're telling the AI agent to output in a clean JSON format with two keys, subject line and the email body. So here, I'll click on require specific output format, and here I'll click on output parser, and here I'll click on the structured output parser. And then here, we're going to add just an example of our output. So here we'd like to output the subject line and the email body here. So I'll drag this to the top over here. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to add a chat model. I'm going to choose OpenAI as our chat model. Here you need to create your credential by clicking on create a new credential. Then from your OpenAI API, add your API key to here and click on save to connect your account. Here I'm going to close. Then here you need to choose a model. I'm going to choose GPT 4.1 mini. Or you can choose any of these models over here. Then here I'm going to drag this at the top over here. Since we mentioned that we need to use a think tool here, I'll search for the think tool right here. Click on the think tool. And I'm going to drag it at the top right here. I'm also going to rename this to think tool. Click on rename. And then the last thing that we're going to add is the memory. I'm going to choose a simple memory right here. I'm going to define below and add a key over here. And then I'll drag this at the top right here. Here, I rename this node to call email generator and click on rename. Then now here, I'll open this node to generate our cold email. So to do that, I'll click on execute step right here to generate our personalized cold email to send to our lead. You can see that our node was executed successfully. Here, you can see the subject line and the personalized cold email to be sending our lead right here. Here's the subject line and the email. You can see email body is on the line. So I noticed your initiative to promote businesses around March 31st, 2025, especially your intention to trademark registration details. I specialize in leveraging automation and AI to enhance the marketing efforts of agencies and professionals like accountants. Streamlining marketing tasks can help you focus more on client service while growing your visibility effectively. Would you be open to a quick chat to explore some tailored ideas for boosting your outreach? That's a very personalized cold email that we generated using our workflow right here. The next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to send our leads a cold email. So here, I'll wait a few seconds. For example, we can wait, let's say 3 seconds. And then here, I'll execute this node. I'll rename it to wait 3 seconds. And click on rename right here. Now, the next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to send the cold email to our lead via email. So search for Gmail right here. Click on Gmail. And here, click on send a message node right here. You'll also need to create your credential like we did with the nodes right here. To do that, just click on sign in with Google, and then on the new window that pops up, choose the account that you'd like to connect to N8N. And your credential will be created. Here I'm going to close this, then we're going to map the email address right here that you scraped using Apify. So I'm going to map the email address right here. Subject line, we're going to map it over here. Email type, I'm going to choose text, and then map the message over here, or the email body. And then last thing that we're going to do here is I'll click on add options and click on append N8N attribution and turn this to off. Then I'll click on execute step to send our lead the cold email. You can see it was sent. Yeah, I'll rename this to send outreach message and click on rename. And now the last thing that we're going to do here is we're going to update our record with the email subject line and the email body. To do that, here I'll search for Google Sheets. Click on Google Sheets, then I'll click on update row in sheet. I'm going to choose our document, which is this document right here. Then I'm going to choose our sheet, which is this sheet right here. I'm going to select the column that I would like to match, which is I'm going to choose the email. Then from Google Sheets, I'm going to map the email right here. Then we're going to map the subject line and the email body. So I'll map the subject line right here and the email body right here. So now to update our record with the subject line and the email body, I'll click on execute step. You can see our node was executed successfully. And here we updated our record with the subject line and the email body right here. So we generated using our workflow. So here I'll rename this node to subject line and email body. And click on rename. Now the last thing that we're going to do here is I'm going to search for the do nothing node. Click on the do nothing node right here to complete our workflow. You can also execute it right here, complete our workflow. Right here, you can see our node was executed successfully. So our workflow works perfectly. So here, we're getting one of the keywords that we added to our spreadsheet over here. Then using the keyword, we are limiting the keywords to 1. And then we're using the keyword to scrape leads from Reddit using this tool in Apify. Here we're getting our leads, then we're adding our leads to our spreadsheet. As you can see right here, where we're adding the keyword that we use, title, email address, description, and the URL right here. Then if we have the email address available, we're then proceeding to generate a very personalized cold email for this lead. Then we're waiting a few seconds and then sending the lead, the outreach email that we generated using our AI agent over here. Then we are updating our record that we created right here with the subject line and the email. As you can see over here, we created the subject line and the email body column in our spreadsheet using this workflow that we created right here in N8N. Now, let us try testing our workflow so we can see how it works. To test our workflow in our spreadsheet, I'll click on the keywords sheet. Here, I'll insert a row above and add marketers as a keyword. Our workflow, I'll click on execute workflow to scrape the leads and send the leads a personalized cold email. Now, here you can see that our workflow was executed successfully. Here we got our keyword. We got the 4 keywords right here. Then we use one of the then here we limited the keywords to only 1. We use one of the keywords to scrape leads from Reddit. Then here we got the leads. As you can see right here, we got the keyword that we use, title, description, the URL, and the email address. We're getting our leads right here, then adding the leads to our spreadsheet. Now when I open our spreadsheet, you can see we added our lead. We created 2 new records right here. So we added the keyword that we use, which was marketer, title, email, description, and the URL of our leads right here. Then here you can see that it met our conditions. Then here we're proceeding to generate a very personalized cold email for our leads. And here we're waiting a few seconds and then sending the leads a cold outreach email that we generated using this node right here, using this AI agent. And then lastly, we're updating our record with the personalized subject line and email body that we generated using our AI agent. As you can see over here, we updated the record with the email subject line and the email body right here. You can see the email body that we generated using our workflow is on the lines of, I noticed your question on Reddit about how to find a good digital marketer who works with specific needs. It's a challenge many face. I specialize in automation and AI tools designed for marketing agencies that streamline finding and managing marketing talent. These solutions could simplify your search process and improve collaboration once you connect with the right marketer. Would you be open to a quick chat to explore some ideas that might be helpful? It's a very personalized cold email that we generated using our workflow right here. Now, if you'd like me to create this workflow for you or a workflow similar to this one, just click the first link in the description to schedule a call with me. On the call, we'll discuss into detail the workflow that you'd like me to create for you. And then I'll proceed to create the workflow for you. But if you enjoyed this video and you have an AI agent or a workflow in mind that you'd like me to create using N8N, just comment it down below in the comment section. I read all the comments, and if I land on your comment and I find it intriguing, I'll come back on a future video showing you how to create the entire workflow or AI agent from scratch using N8N. But for now, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.